We got Hamid with the super chat saying, "What do you think about the presence of President Trump, Benjamin Netanyahu, and Reza Pahlavi at Lindsey Graham's funeral? Do you think it is an alliance for regime change in Iran? Ukraine and Saudi Arabia also entered in this war. I mean, an alliance. I mean, I don't think the. I mean, the funeral. It would. It's a funeral, so President Trump has to go. Prime Minister Netanyahu has to go. Princess Pahlavi has to go. It would be wrong for any of these people not to go there. Zelensky would have to go. So it's a funeral of Lindsey Graham. These are important people that need to be there. The question is if there was any meetings behind the scenes between Reza Pahlavi and maybe not directly President Trump, but his team or important people. Some people saying, of course there were. Some people saying they don't know. Some people are wondering if Trump and Prince Reza Pahlavi met directly themselves. I honestly don't think that President Trump is still convinced that regime change is the only option. You know, a lot of people are going to be like, Army, what are you talking about? Of course he does. I don't think, I think he's looking for multiple options. And I think he still prefers a deal. He loves a deal. There's not going to be any deal, but I think President Trump prefers a deal. And again, a lot of people would disagree with me. I think Princess Pahlavi wants regime change. Prime Minister Netanyahu wants regime change. I think President Trump has that option on the table, but I don't think he's convinced that that's the only way to get this done. He's getting there. Again, a lot of people think that what you're hearing President Trump saying is not necessarily what he thinks. I honestly think he's more honest than a lot of people give him credit. I think when he came out and says, I see what, you know, I'm starting to understand Prime Minister Netanyahu, and I double checked that again. He was saying that the he in that trainings, when he said he refers to the President Trump understanding Prime Minister Netanyahu. So when he said that I now am understanding Prime Minister Netanyahu's position against the Islamic Republic, is because he's getting closer to an understanding why people want regime change and nothing else. But he's still not 100% there. So I don't think there is a 100% agreement. I think Lindsey Graham would have been 100% for regime change. I think President Trump still prefers a deal, but it doesn't really matter because there is no, a deal is not possible in my opinion. I mean, everything is possible. It's very unlikely, and even President Trump still has done more damage to the Islamic Republic and has brought the Islamic Republic closer to regime change than any other president in U.S. history. So that is still the case. So I'm not saying that as a way to speak against President Trump. I'm just saying he's still not 100% there. And I'm still grateful for everything that he has already done against the Islamic Republic. So that's Hamid. Thank you so much, Hamid. And then we have Kevin gifting one Liberty Politics membership to people in the chat. I appreciate you guys. As I know a lot of you disagree with me. My read is President Trump is still interested in a deal. He's less interested in it than before. At some point, he might completely give up on it. I think throughout this time, but though, he has been looking for a Venezuela model. Like he wanted to repeat what happened in Venezuela with the Islamic Republic. That's what his goal was. But again, I still was optimistic about everything he's doing because my understanding is that a deal is very unlikely. And even in the path of trying to get a deal, the fact that you have to keep hitting the Islamic Republic to bring them weaker to the negotiating table is getting us in the direction of toppling the regime anyways, because you want to bring them to the table to make a deal with them, you have to hit them really hard so that they have less leverage at the negotiating table. And in the path of trying to get a deal, you're getting us closer to a regime change. So that's the way I looked at it, right? Which is great. but I think like many people don't agree with me and say like, no, that's not what President Trump ever wanted. He wanted to. I mean, there's a difference between wanting. I mean, if I do believe that President Trump would have preferred if there's a regime change is possible. I just think that he didn't want to pay the price for it. And if there's a deal option available with less of a price for it, he would have gone for the deal. But the deal is not possible. Let me know if you think I'm pretty sure many people in the group also think I'm wrong about this. Um, but I think, but even if you think I'm wrong about this, I think you agree that he wanted to always leave a door, leave that option available. So Amir agrees with me in the chat. Amir saying, I think if anybody wants to comment on this point, like you could put a two in the chat. But Amir saying, I think so too, Armin. I think Trump highly overestimates the operation. I think Trump might have um underestimated how unnatural the Islamic Republic is, how different the Islamic Republic is from everything else. Okay, I do see it too. Nilbani, are there any other twos before the one I'm seeing?
Yeah. So well, okay. So there's actually a reply to Jeffrey that was written in that by Uncle Coping. So he wanted me to read that, but and I
Let's do this
will.
one first.
But the for the super chats, the first one is Kat.
Super chats? I think she
No.
misspoke.
No,
Okay.
she did not misspoke, but it's okay. Just go ahead.
Okay. Never mind. Okay. So I wrote to you in the chat, maybe you didn't notice, that one reason I can give you to feel better and more hopeful today, because I know what you're feeling, I think, um, is that when in the interview and also in other occasions afterwards, after the White House meeting, Bibi said that this one of the best meetings he ever had, if not the best. Bibi would not say that if there was something very like disappointing and worrisome, So that's one thing that it's a very good point to consider. And I'm not saying, of course, we know that Israel and Bibi would prefer a regime change, but I can only say what I know for sure. It can be also about completely dismantling the nuclear and the ballistics. Specifically, it was said. So at least at those 2 points, we know it was very, very good meeting. And the regime without those two is no regime. Am I right?
Yeah, I mean, this
So
goes. Oh, sorry. I thought you asked a question. Continue.
no, I was. Yeah, go on.
No, I mean, I completely agree. First of all, whenever I saw like the big smile on BB's face, made me happy. If he's happy, something good is happening. And I think that Prime Minister Netanyahu thinks about it the same way. I think, if I had to guess, the same way I think about it. That even if President Trump is not pushing for regime change, if he's pushing for defanging the Islamic Republic, in the path of weakening them so that they submit to a deal, it doesn't really matter that they're pushing for a deal, because if they keep defanging them, at some point the Islamic Republic would be defanged enough for Israel to be able to finish the job. Israel and the Iranian people.
Yeah, exactly. And that's exactly my understanding. He was literally shining, like he was very happy. He wouldn't be like that if it was worrying. And what was my second point? I think it's more like will it's more like a cycle. I think it will be again and again attacks in different levels, and then talks about negotiations until it will be inevitable and it will end the regime. It will be a cycle. It's a very hard emotional place to be in watching this cycle, but I think it has no way, like a deal is not possible. We know that. So however it will go, it's just a matter of time.
Yeah, but see, here's the thing though, a deal is very unlikely, but it's not impossible, right? So we have to also keep that in mind. The Islamic Republic might, because we say whenever we say the Islamic Republic will never do this or that, we always have to consider that the Islamic Republic will do whatever it takes to survive, including the things that it has never done before. The only thing that the Islamic Republic uh, will not want to do is die. Everything else is on the table. Yeah, but so just like we should say, it's very unlikely. But I do see your point. Okay, Nelbany. I think the next person is
Monkey.
Mickey. Sorry, Nelbany. Do you want me to mod? Okay.
No, Eric Wong has put his entire topic in the chat, which is just not how it's done. Anyway.
Okay.
Oh, you can tell them no. No, you can't do that.
Okay.
You're in
go
charge.
on.
Yeah, I was just gonna say no deal. I don't give a fuck how this shield shapes out. Any deal that leaves any part of the IRGC charge is in charge. Let me run it by you again. I don't give a fuck how much of a deal you want. He gives up the nuclear dust. He lets inspectors come in, right? Galibaf or whoever's left, they give up the nuclear dust. They give up the missiles. They don't. We're not keeping a single missile. We're giving you every missile. We're giving you every part of the nuclear program. We're just going to go off oil. We'll dismantle our nuclear plants. That's how far we're willing to go to survive. We're going to dismantle our nuclear plants, and we're going to give you every single ballistic missile you want. And the ballistic sites are going to be closed, and you're going to be able to inspect all our ballistic missile sites and all our regular missile sites. We'll even give up our regular missiles, and we won't touch the strait. You keep the strait. But the IRGC stays in charge to create 1,000 Wuhan lab where they can give visas to 100,000 infected people to go destroy the world from their buddies in Wuhan. No deal means no deal. A surrender deal that accepts them would then have to recognize them as being in charge, especially if it does give them the nuclear dust, because then we can't attack them. Especially if they give up all their ballistics, because then we can't attack them because they stood by the deal. Now, if we attack them, we're breaking the deal. That's why I want no part of a deal, no part of a surrender deal. I would not allow a surrender, because if they surrender, they're going to make 1,000 Wuhan labs with the help of China, with the help of Russia, so that they can just pull out a video of 5 protesters and infect them with a mix of COVID, Ebola, and rabies, so you can watch some live zombies. You don't know if they're real or not. And tell you, if you don't pay the price at the strait, we're going to let this loose on the world. We're going to send 1 million people across the world of our most Durka-sad penguins, I'm not a life lovers, out to infect everyone. I accept no part of a surrender deal. Bibi, because he's a fucking oldie, he's a fucking boomer, and Trump, because he's a fucking boomer, has a problem with buildings getting destroyed because he makes buildings. That's fine. I understand you make buildings. It's a brand new fucking world. Get with the fucking times. Because he's really afraid of nukes. Bibi and Trump, nukes. Fuck your nukes. Fuck your nukes. I don't give a fuck if you're afraid of fucking nukes. Aren't you afraid of fucking Wuhan? You're going to be the guy that took away Iran's nuclear program and gave us COVID-1 and the COVID zombie virus because you were so focused on your fucking nukes that you let them get away with it, that you let them sign a deal. Will you give us Wuhan 1 and Wuhan 1 to 1,000? 2 to 1,000. Is that what's going to happen here? I accept no part of a deal. Thank you for your attention to this.
Okay.
Next to respond to, I think it's super chats still, but whatever, is you, Armin.
Yes. So you don't it's nobody. You're right, but no need to mention the super chat because people are gonna get confused. But thank you. So no, I was gonna ask Monkey for some just to make sure I we understand better what he's saying. What if somebody? How do you respond to this? Right? What if you say like if we make a deal, then we can't attack them anymore if they abide by it? Can't you? Can't you make them? So how would you? Somebody said like make them abide by the deal, give up their dust, and then attack them and bomb them anyways. Why? What's gonna stop you?
I think my most honest reply would be fuck you, I'm not taking the chances.
Oh, okay. All right. M- Thank you. All right. Who's next?
Next is Jeff.
Yeah, I mean, Armin is not wrong. We have this talk quite often. Even if the mullah regime gives up the nukes and the nuke dust and everything else, there's so many other alternative WMD profiles they could pursue, not the least of which is advanced synthetic bioweaponry. They gotta go. They gotta go. What he's talking about, I mean, I know it sounds like off the wall. It's like, mixed with rabies and all the rest of it. That's not as far fetched as you may think. Let me find it. Yeah, right here. So at the end of the Soviet era, the Soviet Union had the largest bioweapons program in recorded human history. They had over 66,000 bioweapons, 66,000 scientists and doctors employed in it. I want to try to find the one where it talks about Project Chimera. So Project Chimera was the pinnacle. They were right on the cusp of having that kind of fully developed chimeric-based bioweapon. It blended things like smallpox, the flu, I think it was hemorrhagic fever, and a couple other things like the superbug. Yeah. Now that was like in the late 80s. So all those Soviet scientists, we tried to grab a lot of them, right? Because we were as part of like the Joint Threat Reductions Program and all this other stuff. And we were like, oh shit, it's not just nukes we got to deal with that the Soviets built. Like there was like hundreds of thousands of tons of weaponized smallpox and all this other horrible shit. Yeah. That's why we decommissioned the Soviet bioweapons labs in Ukraine. It wasn't US bioweapons labs. It's all Putin bullshit. It's all Putin anti-Western garbage. Amplified by Tucker, fuck the Duck Carlson. Right? Not all of them. Didn't get all of them. Some of them went to China to work for the Chinese Communist Party. Now you don't even need Soviet bioweapon scientists. Anybody can do that. There's a reason that in the beginning part of the global war on terror, Afa Siddiqui was referred to by the FBI and CIA as the most dangerous woman in the world. Monkey is not wrong. The regime has to go. That's also, it's not just the geopolitical, geostrategic elements of, that underwrite why we got to get rid of the mullah regime. It's also that the fact that it's the combination of the pseudo-theological nature that defines the regime's motives existing in an environment that increasingly selects for proliferation. The regime said it. You cannot destroy the technology. You're very right, Mullah. We can definitely kill the motherfucker that's trying to misuse it, though. That we can do. Which is why you've seen us use things like 250-pound small diameter bombs in last night's strikes. Those are not used to take out military assets. They're used to kill assholes that hide behind women and children. Well said, Sketch. You keep sounding that clarion call, brother.
I agree completely. And you didn't just say it better. You said it while looking so handsome. You're such a beautiful man. I want to give it up for Jeff. Just a wonderful, beautiful man. I love you, homie. Peace.
My name is Armin Navabi. I'm an Iranian political analyst with decades of experience fighting the Islamic regime inside and outside of Iran. Make sure you follow me for more, and also make sure you join our discussion group. I'm there almost every single day. Come talk to me there and the rest of the people there in our group calls. It's a great place to meet and talk to people who like talking about politics. The link is in the description and or in the bio. You could also get there by scanning the QR code on the screen. See you there.